Should I generalize or specialize? Or potentially both. You can maintain a multitude of drill downs, but you just have to be specific and you have to be committed. Now, first of all, you've heard the old expression that it's more important to reach people who count than it is to count the number of people you're reaching. That in and of itself defines narrowcasting instead of broadcasting. And I say that because you don't want to pursue and go out and try to find new clients at the expense of the relationships you already have. And I've seen this before. Advisors that would spend a lot of time and energy and money on advertising, right? Spray and pray. They'd have a marketing machine for seminars and basically all in an attempt to convince strangers to become clients. And there's a lot of effort and sifting involved in that. Meanwhile, these are the same teams that don't get many referrals, and they're undermining their own professional contrast and professional scarcity. They're getting less client engagement, and also those relationships that they do secure are at risk. They're less sticky because of how they were sourced. So bottom line is, before you engage in any target marketing, make sure that you have mastered and maximized your approach for working with people who are already convinced and teaching them, coaching them how to convince people on your behalf in the spirit of advocacy. Because there are many teams we work with, they don't do any of this. 100% of their client acquisition is sourced through introductions. So that said, if you're maximizing total client engagement and conversion to advocacy, and you still have some bandwidth, then the world is your oyster. One example that comes to mind of a firm that does this brilliantly is Oak & Stone, headed up by Seth Diener in Philadelphia. Now, coincidentally, if you do a little digging on Seth, you'll see that he went to Temple University, which is founded by Russell Conwell, who's the author of a book I read many years ago called Acres of Diamonds. It's a fable, maybe you've read it, great little story, about a farmer who was getting a little restless, so he sold his farm and went out in the world to find his pot of gold and ended up dying a pauper. Very dramatic. Meanwhile, the farm he sold was loaded with diamonds. So again, just make sure you're maximizing your existing assets and then go from there if you have the opportunity. Now, in Seth's case, he noticed a pattern developing that he was starting to get traction and was more consistently attracting high-octane professionals in the pharmaceutical field. And he enjoyed those relationships. These were busy people in the prime of their lives, high income, very ambitious, too busy to micromanage and do it themselves, and they had immense respect for Seth and his team. And so, of course, he's developing a reputation in that sector of being a specialist, not a generalist.